The internet really can be a wonderful source of information if you're researching how to look after a bird of prey, for example, or you want to look up some owl facts or whatever it might be, it will be there. And of course, people have their opinion and will comment. And this is my second episode of a video all about the comments that you've been making on my channel. Well, some of them anyway I've written down in my book here, and I'm going to respond to them as well, as of course I have my right to reply, as do you, and it's great to have that community of conversation going as well. Now, I do try and reply to all the comments. There are some that do get missed, I've noticed, but I will try my best to do that. But most of these, I think, in fact, all of these ones I've written here, I have actually responded to already. But I'm going to give a little bit of feedback now. So I've got two comments to start with. Came about the new Hawker Aviary from Maverick, which is actually this one here, and in particular the plastic roofing, which you can see at the back here, which we've got on these, which are secured very much onto the beams and the edges of the enclosure. I have in the past had it where I had mesh across the top, and then raised a little higher, we had angled corrugated plastic with the UV protection on there, but that was actually something that the wind would get under and blow off. I've never had any damage with these ones at all, I'm pleased to say. But a couple of comments. One, which is from Falconry Guy UK, said, I've got the same roofing, but it's great, but definitely have a 2-inch square fencing mesh under it in case of accidents, i.e. branches from overhanging trees or wind taking the roof out, which is just what I've said there. We used to have that, but I've never had a single issue in the last 3.5 years of having these, even on very, very stormy, windy days. And on those nights, we put birds in boxes overnight anyway, and in the morning, I'm half expecting to see a roof panel completely snapped and blown off, and it hasn't happened. Having said that, though, we are thinking about different types of cover, including solid roofs now, which is what we're doing with a lot of the new enclosures we're building here and at different places. But for now, we've got this on. But another comment on that particular video from Wayne Kieft 4952. That plastic roofing is a no-no for many reasons. It isn't safe. One, it isn't safe. Two, it's lethal in warm weather. It would be like keeping a bird in a greenhouse. And now that comment, and we did have a little discussion on there, I thought that's a really interesting one actually, because I'm giving advice on this channel and to people in real life and things on birds of prey, keeping birds of prey, and the type of enclosures that you would use, the materials, that type of thing. And in the podcast I do with Nick Carter-Barnes, we also have discussed that topic, and it keeps coming up in conversations as well. And obviously roofing and the general construction, you know, this is not a greenhouse, because if it was, you would have glass on the side, you wouldn't have the air in between here, these gaps for ventilation. But I did think about it and think, well, we've had heat waves, we've had plenty of them, and I've never had the birds get too warm. Now on those heat waves, we don't take them out on displays. We might do some indoor stuff, especially if they've got air conditioning, but we are monitoring them, we're giving them water, we're keeping them cool, spraying them down, whatever it might be. And I've not noticed them get too warm in here. Now this UV protection that it's got built in, that's why it's like light blue colour, doesn't stop the heat getting through, it just reduces down the UV levels. And of course that's why we need to weather our birds outside a lot as well, for that vitamin D conversion, for their health. But as an enclosure, I've not had a problem here, but it might be partly because of the shade we've got around here, the way the sun moves around. There's the trees here, there's the buildings over here, and you don't get much sunlight coming directly in. So maybe here it's not so much a problem, but as I say, you're saying it's really dangerous, it's a no-no. 3.5 years so far, not a single problem has happened, but I am taking it on board. And we are, as I say now, putting solid roofs on, like the one we have with our eagle enclosure that was built last year. On to another video now, focus on the tawny owl. CJ35 said, I have a tawny owl that emits male and female noises. How can I be sure what gender it is? Now I read that as they are a person who keeps owls, and they have a tawny owl that's making both noises, and they want to know what gender it is, and that's how I replied to the comment. And then afterwards I thought, do they mean they have a tawny owl in their local nearby tree? Thanks for the help there, from an eagle owl that is, of course. Not a million miles away from the tawny owl sound. And, you know, are they talking about that and they can hear both? Because it might be there's actually two sat near each other and they're both making the male and female calls. Not too sure on that one. Dodelism, one of our viewers have been watching for many years. Thank you for your viewership. This is on the recent owl diary where I had Dusty, the dark-breasted barn owl, with a hairdryer on her. I really love that thumbnail, by the way. It looks like I've bought the thumbnail. But the owl picture, you can see the feathers blowing in the air. That was from a slow motion clip of me hair drying the owl, and then removed the background, put it on that warm background, and found a stock photo of a lady holding a hairdryer. But it's just one of those kind of thumbnails that just worked out perfectly in that respect. Our Harris hawk hates hairdryers. We may get away with a space heater as long as it's far enough away. And then they mention about it'll be the noise probably that is the hairdryer issue. This is the thing. I mean, we don't go hairdrying our birds of prey on a regular basis. It's just if they get wet in a way where you think, oh, I want them dry before they go back in their enclosure because it's a cold night or something. If the owl doesn't mind the hairdryer, the noise, the wind coming out, and as long as it's not too hot and it's not got Teflon in it, then really you can certainly use a hairdryer on a bird of prey. It's just not something you'd really think of, I suppose. This particular comment comes from a video I did about 4 years ago, one of the first ones. Hawks of the UK, bird watching, how to spot them in the wild, tips on how to spot them. Very basic kind of tips on how to spot them, just general idea of what they look like and where they can be found and things. And I did a video on owls, I did a video on hawks, eagles and what am I missing? Falcons. And they said vultures then, don't really get vultures in the UK. And that particular hawk video is very popular. It's one of those videos that just gets a few views every single day. So now it's got thousands and thousands of views on it, lots of comments. But this person, Breathe the Gold, has said, so many factual mistakes right from the beginning. You lost me at buzzards are hawks. There are 2 species of hawk in the UK, sparrowhawk and goshawk. That's it. Neither buzzards, harriers or kites are hawks. If you're going to make a factual-based video, at least do the legwork first and get all your facts straight. Now you have people believing all the nonsense you put in this video. Oh, well, that's very kind of you. Well, firstly, I think you're the one who's actually a bit confused. Now, obviously, a kite isn't actually a hawk, but it's in that kind of family of medium-sized raptor in the UK. And in the video, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying these are specific hawks and how to spot them. I grouped the birds of prey into 4 separate videos rather than do one long video of all the birds of prey. Owls, eagles, I could put them in the hawks if I really wanted to. Eagles are just massive hawks, really, you know, in many ways. Falcons very much in their own right, and so, but obviously I didn't. Now, if you are to Google, is a buzzard a type of hawk, this is the answer you get. Buteo, buteo. Buteo is Latin for buzzard. Hawks actually are buzzards, if you want to look at it that way. It's not really that straightforward. This comment is in some ways kind of clutching at straws / being a bit too specific in a sense, because what a hawk is and does to me, it's like a woodland eagle. So it's a small eagle that's got short wings, it's a short wing, and it can fly through the trees, get through those narrow gaps, more agile in that sense. That's what to me a hawk is. But people often say on displays, oh, what's the bird of prey? Now maybe we've got a bunch of owls and a falcon, or a bunch of owls and a hawk, or a bunch of owls and an eagle. When they say bird of prey, we know they mean the raptor, the thing that doesn't look like an owl. And so it was more of a collective term. So this particular person is half right, but they're really going overboard, in my opinion, on that particular thing. And as I say, a buzzard is really a hawk, or a hawk is a buzzard. So, like I say, blurred lines there somewhat, not really something to worry about too much. The next video is one that I did not too long ago, why I quit pest control. You can go back and watch any of these videos, of course, if you wish, including that one. When we haven't fully given it up, we're still available to do pest control. I just gave it the particular contract I had, or agreement I had at the time, with a particular company, even though I did help them out recently with a particular gig. Ryan English 8047 says, pest control with a raptor is not falconry, so you quit pest control. So what they're referring to is the band of people, mostly old school falconers, but some younger ones as well, who think that falconry, in their opinion, is one thing only, and that's hunting with birds of prey, the art of hunting with birds of prey. And that's fine if you have that opinion. I call myself a display falconer. I don't think Ryan English 8047 would agree with that. He would say you're a bird of prey display person, or something like that. So they don't class pest control as falconry, but when you think about what falconry is, 99% of everything we do when it comes to training and husbandry and housing and equipment and everything else is pretty much the same. The hunting is that extra little bit that you go out and do, afterwards, if you like. I mean, yes, you could argue it's maybe a little less than 99%, but you know what I'm saying. Really, you get pest control falconry, that's what I call it. I mean, the amount of people who come up to me when I'm doing work, I'm doing a visit somewhere or some shows, and they'll say, oh, so-and-so, I know, does this flying around a factory, or, oh, I was working one day at this bus depot and whatever. Yes, that's pest control falconry is what I tell them, because working with birds of prey is all, now in the modern age, as far as I'm concerned, falconry. You've got different types of falconry: hunting falconry, display falconry, pest control falconry, breeding falconry, you could say. Maybe falconry is at least flying birds of prey, maybe not just hunting with them. But again, you're open to your own opinion, and I have perfect respect for that. I don't mind at all. Is that one? I can't read my own blooming writing here. One stork. Anyway, I'm from New Zealand. When I'm 13, I'm 9 at the moment, I will hunt with swamp harriers. Wow. Well, in this country, we get marsh harriers. So I suppose in New Zealand, the swamp harrier, I think it's a different species of bird of prey, but same kind of principle, I guess. That's fascinating. If you are watching this, please let me know more about that, because that's something that's literally not in my world. Obviously, New Zealand and Australia have got not a huge amount of owls. They do have some, but they've got some magnificent eagles. And the wedge-tailed eagle, probably the most sort of well-known Australian species of eagle. But lots of different species of hawks and falcon and so on over there. So yeah, swamp harrier, that's cool. Helen Hashton 5334 on the focus on the Tawny owl video again. Thank you for such an informative video. The Tawny owl's making sure the presenter got all the facts right by the way he was looking at him. Well, all the facts right. If where's he gone? If Breathe the God has anything to say about it, probably not. Yeah, so that particular owl was called Bernie, and he died last summer. He was 23. We got him from Loch Lomond Bird of Prey Centre, and we had him about a year or so. He was donated to us as a retired owl, and we said, look, we're not going to take him out very often. Once or twice a week, we're not going to try and fly him. We'll keep him at fat weight. He can eat as many mice as he likes. And we noticed, as we were doing some handling with him, if he did like 3 or 4 holds at a private booking, like a Scouts or something, he would then start to go a bit floppy and a bit weak. Oh dear, so we put him away. But otherwise, it's been perfectly fine. And then I had him on a static display last August. He was sat there perfectly fine. I wasn't doing any handling or anything like that with him, just there to be able to look at. And he'd just getting a little bit of sunshine, just happily just sat looking around. And then I noticed he was crouched down. And then the next thing I know, I thought, you're dying. So carefully put him in the box, moved the box away, kept checking on him, and he died within about 20 minutes. So just old age, really. I mean, tawny owls could live to be much older than 23. I think that's what he was, 23 years old, 22, 23. But he was originally a wild tawny owl that had been found and taken to the centre, and they got some paperwork. He had an A10, which is the legal document you need with these birds, and he was then a flying bird at the centre, and they would have noticed him getting old and slow and decided to retire him. So, you know, not a big surprise. It didn't last too long, but we had him for a good year, and they are beautiful creatures. Now, the reason why he was staring at me like that is because when we got him, he was brought into a new place. He'd been in the same centre all his life. And when he was near me, he was very much just staring at me all the time, like, what are you doing? Just trying to figure me out. On the video I did Good Birds for Beginners, Noop Cure, I think that's how you pronounce it. Can I own an osprey? What a question. That certainly would not be in the beginner's birds. There are certain birds of prey that you commonly get in falconry, in keeping birds of prey, and they're the ones you see quite regularly. Lots of different types of falcons, plenty of goshawks and harris hawks, various different types of owls. But there are certain species that you never ever see. I've never seen an osprey in captivity anywhere. There probably will be somewhere in the world. Now, osprey are not an eagle, but they're in that kind of family of kind of stork-like bird of prey, somewhere between an eagle and a vulture. They hunt fish, and in this country we can spot them nesting high up in parts of the northeast and Cumbria, for example. There are nest boxes out there to watch them as well, and they're a migratory bird as well. So very sort of interesting bird and quite unique. And really, if you want a yes or no answer, can I own an osprey? I don't think so. I don't think so. I've never seen them, like I say. And the last message, Paul goes Paul Goes. Yeah, Paul Goes 5494. Flying Henrietta video. I think on the thumbnail it said the legend of the legend of Our Adventures, the icon of Our Adventures. And this is a lovely comment to finish on. I'm new to this world, but one thing I've noticed, what's weird about the vids, is when I scroll down to see your subs and views, how there are other channels with 1 million views of content that is just nowhere near as cool as Henrietta or your edit/setup quality, etc. Hope things kick off for you, you deserve it. That's a really lovely comment. Thank you very much for that support there. We do get comments every single day now on various different videos, including some of the older videos as well, which is amazing. And like I said, I did try and respond. But your comments do matter because I learn from them, especially if you're a falconer yourself. And it's also really good to get that feedback to know, you know, what you're thinking when you watch the videos. What I'd love for you to do is to suggest any video ideas you can, because we're always looking for new ideas to produce for this channel, and I am dedicated, very much disciplined to upload 2 videos every single week, every Wednesday and Sunday, so you get used to when they're on and you can look forward to them. I do that with lots of YouTubers I watch. I don't have a TV license, which in the UK, if you don't know much about that, if you're from another part of the world, look it up. Watch some YouTube videos on that, you'd be fascinated by it. If we don't pay our TV licence and we ignore the letters and the knocks at the door, in theory, we can actually go to prison for not having one. That is just allowing us to watch live TV. But the BBC, essentially, the corporation, they're the ones who get the licence fee money. Now, I don't watch live TV, I don't need to. I've got YouTube and I've got Netflix. I don't even watch much Netflix. I am very much a YouTube person. I listen to YouTube a lot. I pay for the premium version, so I don't get adverts. It's worth it because I save so much time. And I like podcasts and things like that, long videos, and I'll just, beginning of a long journey, pop something on, leave it on, and that keeps me going for a couple of hours very easily. So it's a great way of learning and a great way of expanding your mind in many ways. Most of the videos I watch are about learning in some way, whether it's to do with animals, birds of prey, zookeeping, falconry, training animals, running a business, even things on life and money and social issues and all sorts of different things. Keeping my sword sharpened, I think, is the expression there. So YouTube is a great place really for us to expand with this particular channel. So like I say, any ideas, please let me know, and we will certainly try our best to get those videos produced for you. There we go. I think as this channel grows, the next time I get some comments, they'll be a bit wilder. I've not had a troll yet, not really. I'll know I've made it when I get my first troll. Looking forward to that. I hope you enjoyed watching that video, and until the next video, thanks for now. 17